Yeah. Grown Folks Production.
In the mix.
With the commish, Nate.
Well, there we go. That was weird. I had to completely shut down my Stream Deck and fire it back up. I don't know what just happened. And as I get the Stream Deck to work, internet's taking a poop. I don't know what's going on. Everything's been working fine all day. And here we find ourselves. Okay, everything looks to be cleared up. Welcome to Press Pass Live, your weekly, non-polished, non-professional podcast show for the OMFL, the world's longest online CFM in the world. Started in 2021, January 2021. So we're coming up on a birthday. And out of that was born the Grown Folks online community. If you're an adult gamer, you're looking for some other people that kind of are passionate about what you're passionate about and enjoy doing the things you enjoy doing it, whether it's Madden, MLB, soccer, shooters, Call of Duty, PUBG, you name it, we play it. Come hang out with us, grownfolksoc.com. What's up, everybody? How you doing today? It's a Tuesday, and it has been a heck of an afternoon already. I mean, I was sitting here ready to play Truth. We fire up, and literally, as I told him I'm ready to search, he tells me that his car was ready. He had to go pick it up. Our game has been delayed. I jumped into an impromptu session of Call of Duty with my guy, JJ. He was watching me. We didn't do too well, JJ, if you're here. And now we're here for Press Pass Live. And my guy, Trey, is missing my co-facilitator, my co-host, my co-whatever you want to call Mr. Trey. But we're going to dive deep. We're going to look into the playoffs really quick. May even pull up Mr. Beal. He gives us some great kind of playoff scenarios, who's in, who's not in, who's currently want to be in, who could be in, who might be in, who's totally out. And then we're going to look at some rookies and some possible rookies of the year. So we're going to be looking at a lot of things on our phone. If you have the Daddy League app, you need to go ahead and pull that up and have that ready to rock and roll. All right, let's go and talk about a little bit of the playoff scenarios. We are coming to the end of season 103. I cannot believe it's already here. But we do have a puppy dog. I don't know if you guys are going to see the puppy dog. There's a puppy dog underneath there. She's not moving. Aubrey. It's cold. She's cold. She's not feeling it. Aubrey. Hey, puppy. You're not going to show your face? She's like, I'm not moving, Dad. So I don't know what your deal is, but you're going to have to leave me alone. All right, we're going to start over here in the NFC. This is how Madden is calling it right this second. Let me know if y'all can hear the music. I got the music on just a little bit. I want to make sure that we have just a little something in the background. Got to get into the holiday spirit. We got the 49ers as the number 1 seed. Dallas Cowboys is the number 2 seed. They're playing, if it ended today, which it isn't, the number 7 seed Detroit Lions. Number 3 seed Chicago Bears against the number 6 seed Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who fought all season long. The number 4 seed Atlanta Falcons would be going up against the Washington Commanders at the number 5 seed. So technically, the number 1 seed is all wrapped up. It's going to go to the 49ers. Nothing else can happen. The Cowboys have almost sewed up the number 2 seed. I think technically depends on what happens this week, but it looks like the Cowboys are going to put a bow on that. Number 3 and 4, there's still some possibility of some flip-flopping going on there. Commanders at 10 and 4 look like they're pretty secure. Buccaneers, Packers, Lions, Panthers, technically the Cardinals all still in the running. Now, Giants, Eagles, Rams, and my Saints are all technically still alive. There's some crazy scenarios that would need to happen there. Where it's going to come down to is it the Packers at 8-6, Lions at 8-7, Panthers at 8-7, or Cardinals at 7-7. Who's going to take that last spot? Who's going to take that number 7 spot? Looks like pretty much the Bears have the NFC North, Central, East, West, whatever it is. You guys know I get it wrong every time. It's the NFC North, is it not? I'm pretty sure it is. They have the NFC North pretty much wrapped up. Atlanta Falcons pretty much have the NFC South wrapped up. Dallas Cowboys and Commanders kind of going back and forth, but Dallas has enough of a lead they can kind of wrap things up here. So 1 through 4 looks pretty secure. Now, Buccaneers are still alive for the NFC South. Falcons are going to need to help them out a little bit, but Buccaneers have given themselves a shot with a big win and victory this week. What's up, Bird? Good to see you. My guy Bird and his Cardinals are still technically alive. They can still sneak in there. Panthers and Lions and Packers are all kind of battling it out there for that number 7 seed. And that's going to set up for an interesting game against Dwayne. I mean, a lot of those games could go a lot of different ways. If it's the Lions, I think that there's some bad blood there, right? There's a rival there. There's some heat. There's some tension that's kind of building between those two teams. They've had some pretty epic battles over the last couple of Madden. You throw the Packers in there. You know, could Priest go to Dallas and upset the Dallas Cowboys in a massive victory for his season? He's played exceptionally well. Is it the Panthers who've battled? I mean, those are two real life friends who've battled before, and the Panthers have just kind of battled this entire season, or just some way, somehow, Bird and his Cardinals, after the terrible start that they got off to, somehow turn it around here and make a run and get into the playoffs and then go on the road. He'd be up against quite the challenge against Dwayne in that number 2 seed. But I think that is kind of what's up in the air. I think everything else is pretty secure. Bears, Bucks, that's going to be an epic game. It's going to come down to the quarterback play. I like the Bears quarterback play a little bit better than the Buccaneers, though Kevin has kind of found his way in these last couple of weeks, and he has found his way to getting some consistency, especially on the offensive side of the football. And then the game, in my opinion, to watch, Falcons, Commanders. Penguins went on quite the run in season 102. He got all the way to the NFC Championship game. He is right back this season. He is battling his way. Bronco Man takes over the Atlanta Falcons, brand new team for him, but he just picks up right where Kobe left off. He's got a championship caliber team. Those two would make an epic battle. That is a rematch of last season's NFC Championship. Some different owners, a little bit different of a situation, and we'll see how it goes. Bird, you're still in there, though. You still have plenty of opportunity to make a run. I like the Bears to come out of that one against the Buccaneers. Dallas, I think, takes care of business. He's going to, in my opinion, there's going to be different challenges that he would face depending on who gets that number 7 seed. I think the Panthers would be the easiest challenge for him. Not going to be easy, easiest challenge out of all those teams. I think the Lions would bring kind of the greatest tension. I think that would be the game to watch because somebody feels like they could explode from that game. I think the Panthers are the biggest, or Packers are the biggest, like what's going to happen? What could happen to either one of these teams? And then, you know, could the Cardinals go in there? I think that would be a really interesting matchup to see if the Cardinals can get in there. And as we can all hear, my guy Trey is jumping on with us a few minutes late, but it's okay. Trey, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing peachy.
We were just breaking down the NFC, kind of talking about who's in, who's out, who's naughty, who's nice. And it looks like your Lions are battling with the Packers, the Cardinals, and the Panthers, kind of all for that number 7 seed. But everything else here feels pretty wrapped up. We were talking about the Falcons, Commanders. I think that's probably the most interesting game, the game that could get like the most eyeballs on it. That could just be interesting to see. Can Bronco Man pick up where Kobe left off? It's a rematch of the NFC Championship last year. We've seen Penguins go on his epic runs. He's got his team playing well. The Bucks and the Bears, Buccaneers have found some consistency here late in the season, but the Bears have been consistent all season long. I think the Bears defense is just too much for the Buccaneers. I don't like the quarterback on the road in Chicago. Maybe a snowy game that could really affect it. And we were just breaking down all the different type of possible matchups for the Dallas Cowboys, depending on who he faces there. There's going to be different ways that game could kind of play out. And then the 49ers, they're just sitting here waiting to see how all of this plays out and who's going to go face them. Anything to kind of add here before we give some predictions? I've got the Washington Commanders winning against the Atlanta Falcons. I got the Chicago Bears winning against the Bucs. I just got to go Dallas just because I think there's a lot in the air about who's actually going to be there. And I got to go with my odds here. 3 out of those 4 teams, I think he can handle pretty easy. One being a little bit tougher. And so I'm taking Dallas to win that one.
There's 2 that give him a rough chance.
Who are the 2? I got you. I think you would make for a great game. You guys have had some great battles. I don't know that Priest is up to Dwayne's level. I don't think the Panthers have the team to kind of compete with him. Yeah, we seen what he did with you this week, but like that's a rarity to have a player like Burns go off like that. And then the Cardinals, I think Bird has the talent, just hasn't played consistent. He's missed a couple games because of some internet issues. That's kind of hurts you when you haven't just played in a bit. So I only really see one team there.
Well, Panthers has always had Wayne's number no matter what the team has been. So that just he may not have the team to produce that quote unquote win over him, but he just seems to have Wayne's number.
Could be. Give me some predictions. Atlanta Falcons versus Commanders.
I just haven't seen enough from Bronco Man, and Commanders have just been on too hot of a streak this season. Battling between, pretty much the entire season for the NFC East Championship. So I gotta give that to the Commanders.
Bucks Bears defensive battle.
Yeah, this one's a coin toss because when I play both, I'm going to say Bucks will probably take the loss in that one. It all depends on if his defense is there, it's going to probably come to that one last final possession to who wins it. But I just know that pass rush with the Bears is just so dang hard to beat.
It's crazy to look at the NFC. We're going to hop over to the AFC in a minute, but like NFC's just got so many good teams. Who finally takes that number 7 seed? It's kind of a setup question because you're in the running. You're technically right there. So it feels like a setup question.
I have probably the easiest route, I'm going to say to that. With, I got the Vikings next week and the Cardinals, or the Raiders to end the season. That's the tough matchup. I feel like the 7th seed's going to probably end up being the Panthers now that they have the tiebreaker over me.
All right. Well, that's going to be an interesting battle. You said that the Panthers have Dwayne's number. Who wins that game?
Kobe proved me right last year. I got to go. I'm going Panthers.
So that would set up Panthers, 49ers in your scenario. That would set up Bears, Commanders. Did I get that one right?
Yes.
So I got Bears, Commanders as well, but not in that. I don't think they're going to play each other. I think where you're going to see the Commanders have to go play the San Francisco 49ers, his old team. I think that's going to be a really fun one to watch. And the Bears, where they're going to have to play the Dallas Cowboys, could be a great divisional NFC round. But in your scenario, Panthers, 49ers, Bears, Commanders, who wins those games?
I've got to go with the Bears over the Commanders. I don't know if the offense is the run offense, as much as it's been dominant for the Penguins, is going to be able to crack that Bears defense, because even though he has an insane pass rush, he also has a really good run defense. And the coin toss here is, when are we in that divisional round? Because it's already been booked. D Money's gone for a week. If it's in that week span, I gotta go with the Panthers. But if D Money's in town and around, I've got to go with him.
Let's see if we even know when those are. Let's see. Out of town. He's gone the 21st through the 28th. What's that? Today's the what? Tomorrow's the 21st. Ooh, it's gonna be close. I don't know. It depends on what happens in these last couple advances, man. That's gonna be real close. Lucky for him, he does have a bye week, and so that's gonna buy him a couple extra days. I think he's gonna be here. So
That's not a guarantee, Nate.
I've got 49ers versus who did I say? I think that would be the Commanders. That's going to be an epic battle. Look, the 49ers have been on quite the roll, but the Commanders, they're already going to get a game underneath their belt. They're not going to be stressing about getting back for the holidays and trying to be there. I'm going to call the upset. I like the Commanders beating the 49ers, but don't be surprised at all if the 49ers show up and just wipe the floor with everybody. And then you got the Bears and the Dallas Cowboys. Man, talk about, this is going to be the game, if this happens, that really tells us, does Big Hurt have his team where we want to see them? Are they back, right? Because this is the matchup. You're in the playoffs. You're in the divisional round. Chance to go to the NFC Championship. We've seen you do it before, but you've been rebuilding for quite some time. Does he get in there? I don't think that he does. I just think Dwayne is so hard to beat whenever you get to the playoffs. It's going to be quite the matchup. My heart says I want to see 49ers Dallas. We always talk about those two guys, but we haven't seen that matchup in quite some time. My heart says, give me San Francisco, give me the Dallas Cowboys in the NFC Championship. And well, that's really what I want to pick. But I'm going to put my faith in the Commanders. I'm going to put my faith in the Dallas Cowboys. So I've got Commanders Dallas in the NFC Championship, but you would have the Panthers? Yeah, I don't know. You didn't really make a pick there, but I think maybe the Panthers and the Bears in the NFC Championship.
With how the timing looks, it would look as if the time frame would set up that we would have D Money in, because projection for a possible sim tomorrow. There's 6 days. The 6 days between potentially the week 8 or the 2 playoff or 2 remaining regular season weeks, and then another 3 days in between. So that's 9 days. He's gone for 7. He's going to be back. So I would say that it's more than likely it's going to be D Money versus Big Hurt, and as much as I want to see Hurt do it, because finally somebody other than
the hard pick
Wayne or D Money gets in. Kobe did the upset last year, but obviously the whole comes to the thing that D Money wasn't there for the first round. If he could beat D Money and beat him right before the Super Bowl, that'd be great. But I just can't. I gotta say it's going to be D Money over Hurt.
And we haven't seen D-Money all the way in the bowl game in quite some time. I do think he is undefeated in bowl games. I don't know, somebody in chat or maybe even Trey knows. I think he's undefeated in bowl games. So Trey's got D-Money representing with his undefeated San Francisco 49ers from the AFC. I would have Dallas and the Washington Commanders. I think that again, my head says that if D-Money's back, that it'll be D-Money versus D-Wayne. And boy, talk about a game that we got to call. That's 2 old school guys that have been here a long time that have been winning. That would be a fun matchup. But Big Hurt's got a great defense. He can make it. We've seen Penguins go on runs. I think Penguins is trying to prove himself after last season. The playoffs got rough for Penguins last year, but I think he's kind of taking that in stride and bounce back here. But I got to go like you. I got to go with my head here. I got to go with my buddy D-Wayne. I think Dallas 49ers, you talk about old school 90s football and old school OMFL football, 2 multi-time champions. My head, my heart, everything in me is pulling for that game to happen just for all the reasons. But I got to give some love to the Bears and to the Commanders, both of which have had epic seasons. I still like Dwayne to win this one. In my scenario of how I'm playing it out, with the big unknown being how we fall with D-Money's, kind of a travel schedule. Even though if it's close, guys, we're going to wait. We're not going to try to just, if he's 24 hours out and can play, like, we're going to wait. I know that may ruffle some feathers, but, it's the right thing to do. So give me Dwayne to represent the NFC from the OMFL Bowl number 103. Trey's got the 49ers. That's how we see it playing out. Let's go over here to the other side. I was just about to make this comment a while ago, and then I kind of swallowed it. But our first wild card team, the Commanders at 10-4. Our second wild card team currently, the Buccaneers at 9-6. All would be in the running for the number 1 seed if they were in the AFC. That's how stacked of a powerhouse it is over here. But we've got some new names, some new faces over here on the AFC. Now, if Madden ended it right this second, we're still in the middle of week number 16, so it's not ending. You'd have the Browns at the number 1 seed, the Colts at the number 2 seed. They would play the Raiders at the number 7 seed. An epic loss today against the Kansas City Chiefs. Hail Mary as time expires. It looks like the receiver caught it out of bounds. The game called it a touchdown. There was no real way to see if his feet landed inbounds, but you got to go with the game says, and they lose in epic fashion. Bill and his Bills, the number 3 seed, will play the Nipples and his Ravens as the number 6 seed. He's taken a couple of advances off to spend time with Mama. He'll be back. Can he go on a run? That'll be a fun conversation. But Broncos is the number 4 seed, playing the Bengals as the number 5 seed. So we've got Ravens are back in there, Broncos back in there, Colts are in there, Raiders are in there. Bill has bounced back again this season. Bengals are still going strong, but really the head honchos, the Browns and Denver, multi-time representative from the AFC. I think this would be his 3rd time in a row, trying to go for his 4th, if I think I've got that right. According to Bill and his numbers, this is how things would play out currently, how they're showing it. But you still have, there would be a flip-flop. The Dolphins would take the number 3 wild card, so they would be in place of the Raiders at the number 7 seed. The Raiders at 8-6 would fall back from their loss. Jaguars at 7-7 are still in there. Technically, Jets, Patriots at 7-8 are still in there. I just don't think they're going to have enough time. And then you've got the Chiefs at 5-9, Titans at 5-9, Chargers at 5-9. They're out of it. I mean, some miracles would have to happen. So as you see it, is how I think it'll play out. But what do you think?
You say there's not enough time, but Kobe just beat Wayne.
Still don't think
there's still time. There's still time, and
he'd have to have help. Raiders, he'd have to have a lot of help.
Yes, he needs help. That's for sure. The Raiders lost to the Chiefs definitely helps. I feel that's probably going to be his way in. He needs the Raiders to lose the next 2 weeks, which I'll do my best to help my friend out if I can. And he needs to win out.
You still got the Dolphins at 8-6 though, so the Dolphins would have to lose too.
Wouldn't there be hold on. Did I just do this math?
I trust your math more than I trust mine, but I know the Dolphins, technically with Bill's write-up, the Dolphins are in over the Raiders right now, even though the Madden is still showing what would happen this week.
Okay, yes, and there's the Broncos still. That could be the key thing here.
Who does Miami have?
Miami still has to play Atlanta this week.
Ooh. That's going to be a tough one.
And the Broncos cross Philadelphia.
Yeah, that's a little bit easier of a ride for them.
Actually, now that we're doing this, I need to go look at the entirety of these remaining schedules. That will be a better clarification.
So who do you think who gets these spots? I think everything's settled except for the number 7 seed. I'm just going with my head that I just don't think that the Jets are going to have enough time to make it in. Ooh. But you think he is.
Dolphins got Falcons, Bills, Giants to finish the season. That's not an easy schedule, especially because
That's hard.
Colin's starting to find his groove again.
Yep.
Broncos have Eagles, Chiefs, Vikings. That's a more reasonable schedule trying to win out. The Raiders are in that race. They have Ravens and then myself. And what do the Jets have left? The Jets have Texans and Ravens.
That Ravens game is going to be pivotal in week 18.
That's a possibility that even they might get eliminated. Because Kobe could get to 9 wins. If Nipples isn't playing.
I don't like. I think Nipples is back. I don't like that Dolphin. Now that you've told me the schedules, that Dolphin schedule's brutal.
Yeah. Wow, that kind of shakes everything up.
So who gets it for you?
Now I looked at this, there's so many possibilities. I definitely think the Broncos will get in. I feel like they have a more favorable schedule, so that would give them. I think they can win out, which would give them 11 wins. That puts them safe. I think the Dolphins might lose out. That's a distinct possibility with all those matchups. Kobe definitely has a chance to win out, which would put him over. And then we have the Raiders. They have a tough schedule. They could definitely either win out or lose out. Baltimore's got a tough schedule. They could lose out, and that would give.
That would really shake things up.
Yeah. I'm going to say that the wildcard teams will be the Bengals, the Broncos, and Baltimore. Ugh. That's tough.
Well, who would be the number 7 seed in your scenario?
Then that I would have as Baltimore. I think they're going to take the loss this week, and Cincinnati's going to get the win, which would put them above. I think Broncos winning out, and I could see potentially that 2 of the next 3 games that Nipples loses.
Trey has melted my head with all these possibilities. Nate's going to keep it easy. I think what you see on your screen right now is how it's going to play out. It's going to be quite the battle, though, as we come in. So, Trey, while I'm talking, you're going to have to figure out what your scenario even looks like. I'm going to break down this one, then I'm coming to you for your possible matchups. Colts, Raiders. Look, the Raiders are mad right now, and that can go one of 2 ways. He's got a tough schedule, as Trey mentioned. He also could win out. But when you're mad, you either focus and you make a run, or you melt and you just play mad. And I think playing mad never really benefits anybody. I like what the Colts have quietly done. Cincy Berg has built this team to run really well, to play great defense. I like the Colts to win this game. Bill and his Bills versus Nipple and the Ravens. That was going to be a fun matchup. But Nipples has missed quite a lot over the last 2 Maddens, I would really say. He was really plugged in. Then he went on a losing streak. Then he went on auto to spend some time with family. He's going to be coming back. Can you take a break like that and just pick back up? And then you're picking back up on a losing momentum. I like the Bills to win that game. I think Bill he's got the playmakers on the outside. He's got the playmaker quarterback. He's got a defense that can make some turnovers. And Bill, when he can push the ball down the field and then use that blitz to get after you, he can force you into some craziness. I like the Bills to win that. So Colts and Bills, that brings us to the Broncos and the Bengals. And this, to me, in the first round of the AFC, would be the game to really watch. I think these are 2 teams that we don't really talk a ton about because they just quietly go about their thing. But Little Koch has been really consistent this entire Madden. He's just he's not going to be up there number 1 or 2 seed, but he's not bottom 6 or 7 seed either. Just kind of floating right there in the middle, and usually picks up a game here. He's going to have to go on the road to face the Broncos. I just don't know that the Broncos have enough to beat him. I just like the playmakers for the Bengals a little bit better. Give me the Bengals to win this one in an upset on the road against the Broncos. So I like Colts, Bills, and Bengals. Trey, now you get to try to work out who is playing who in your scenario and who's winning those games.
I didn't realize how close that AFC West race was to apparently hold the division lead. And I had them as the 7th seed.
Yep.
All right. Well, I wasn't thinking about that one. Okay. So putting them into the 4th seed is they're probably going to win the division. Now, looking at it with that aspect, I could see the Jets doing it, but I could also see the Jaguars. I just gotta go with Kobe as the 7th seed actually. Now I'm looking at this.
You've been pumping Kobe up for weeks now, like since the swap happened. So you got to go with it. You just have to.
He's the defending champion, and I said it. He's going to make a run for it.
Undebatable.
I think what he was 1-8 or something like that when he got the team.
Yeah.
So I gotta go with Kobe as the 7th seed. So that would put I'm going to say it's going to be the Colts as the 2 seed. So it'd be Colts Jets. I'd have to say
there's no way you're putting Kobe in the playoffs after talking him up this whole season and not giving him the first round victory against Cincyburg. There's no way you're doing that.
Yeah, you're right. I have to give Kobe that win. I want to say the Colts have the team, but it's Kobe.
Yeah.
Kobe's going to come up with some Elvis trickery play where his tight end or somebody gets wide open and goes for 100 yards. It's going to happen. It's bound to. That would put Bills versus, which would then bump the Ravens up to that seed. I have. I'm going to say it's going to go to the Bills, and then Broncos Bengals. I got to go with the Bengals.
So you got Bengals, Bills, and Jets. That would send the Jets over to Cleveland to play the Browns, and when we've seen that,
and the rematch.
Yeah, we get a rematch there. That would also set up Bill versus the Bengals, which would be a really fun game. In my scenario, that would set up the Colts to play the Bengals. No. Bengals would go up to play his old buddy, Mr. Denver, and the Browns, and the Colts would play the Bills. Man, that would be a fun game. Colts, Bills, two teams that took brand new teams over this Madden, have kind of rebuilt. They've getting hot and cold, but both teams have had more consistency this Madden. Man, that's a coin flip. Like, depending on what team shows up, what Cincyburg shows up, what Bill shows up, would depend on who wins that game. Both of those guys know what it's like to win big games in the playoffs. Both of those guys know how to, like, Cincyburg is a past champion here. Bill's gotten really close before. I'm going to pick with my heart, though. I'm pulling for Bill and his Bills. I like the Bills to get that upset. Denbrew would then face his buddy, Little Koch, and the Bengals. And like, I've seen that before. And unfortunately, I just think Denbrew's got his number. I think Denbrew's in Little Koch's head just a little bit. Maybe a little buddy-to-buddy text chatting trash talk going on between those two. That would give me the Browns for the big victory there at home as the number 1 seed versus the Bills in the AFC Championship. Man, that'll be a fun matchup. In your scenario, you got a rematch of last year's OMFL Bowl, Jets, Browns, and then you would also have Bill versus the Bengals. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's right. Give me some of those winners. Who wins those games?
I think that Super Bowl loss is gonna, linger a bit, and I think it's gonna sit. Oh, it was fun to call. I think it's gonna linger just enough that Kobe's just Denver's gonna worry too much. Oh, that's right. Is it Denver? Denver's Cleveland, right?
Yep.
Okay. So I get confused with the whole Cleveland. Whatever. I think it's going to linger just that little bit that he's going to make that one mistake that lets Kobe sneak in. As for Bills Bengals, I've got to go with the Bills. It's just a game's going to be in the snow. It's going to be tough to run the
Man, that would
ball.
be fun to watch too.
It's to pass the ball, and I just think that I think I was looking at it the other day. If you just sorted by the AFC, 3 of the top 4 guys in sacks were from the Bills. I just don't think that plays
crazy.
that well.
If my scenario plays out for the NFC and your scenario plays out for the AFC, you talk about 4 must-watch divisional games like that. That would be the epic of holidays to sit back and watch some of those games. So you have Jets versus Bills. I've got Browns versus Bills. Who represents the AFC in the OMFL Bowl 103?
Let me see. Have they played, or were all those games played before? They did play. And that game went to Kobe. But that game was in New York, not Buffalo. Or sorry, shit. Let me correct that. It's in East Rutherford, New Jersey, not New York.
That's fair.
You know what? He's going to do it again. 7 seed all the way.
Wow. You heard it here. My guy Trey really believes in his buddy Kobe. I think Kobe's amazing. He is a past champion here. What he did last season was an epic. But to take over a team that was 0 and whatever when he took them over and make a run, that would go down in OMFL lore to win back-to-back championships in that style. It's never happened before. It's definitely never happened in that way. I think there's no way in Hades that takes place. Browns, Bills, man, you threw out that stat, which is such a good stat, that 3 of the top 5 sack leaders all come from the Bills. I didn't know that. What a great find by you. I still got to go with Denbrew. Look, Denbrew hit a bit of a stumbling block last season, but I think he really, when the playoffs turn on, he clicks on that light, man, and he's going to be ready for making a run here. And I like Bill. I love what he's doing with the Bills, and that stat makes me pause of like, ooh, there's something brewing over in Buffalo that we didn't know about. But I like the Cleveland Browns to represent again. So I've got Cleveland versus Dallas. And boy, talk about what would be a really fun game.
I looked.
And then you've got Jets
I was wrong.
versus
it wasn't
who?
sacks.
Oh, it wasn't sacks. Okay.
It was TFLs.
Oh, still.
Which might be even worse.
Yeah, I mean, look, TFLs, that's impressive. To have 3 in the top 5 of anything not called interceptions around here is going to be really impressive. So yeah. I've got Browns, Dallas.
I've got Jets and 49ers.
49ers. Talk about 2 must-watch OMFL Bowls. We gotta let Jets 49ers sit. We're gonna come to you for that one, man. That would be talk about that would be must watch. But Browns versus Dallas, I think maybe doesn't have the cachet of that other game, but man, talk about 2 guys, 2 just good humans in our league who work really hard to make the OMFL what it is. That would be a great matchup that I would hope, pray, expect really great FPR, which last Madden Bowl we actually had really good FPR. It was good to see. Sometimes those OMFL Bowls, the FPR can get a little shaky at times. This would be 2 teams that can kind of be streaky. Like we've seen both in OMFL Bowls past. The Browns go streaky, right? They jumped in a big hole against Kobe. They made their way back. They took that late lead crazy with the interception for the pick 6. And then ended up finally losing that game late. We've seen Dallas go in the same streak. They jump out really big. That's usually what happens with Dallas. They'll jump out to a 14, 17-point game, and then all of a sudden make a couple bonehead plays, fall back, and have to battle their way back. Woo! I'm going to put my money on, man, just flip a coin. I really wouldn't care who would win this game. I'm holding a metaphorical gun to my head to pick this game. I would go Dallas Cowboys. Just literally flip a coin. I don't know who would win this game. It would be a fun
You want to know who wins that game?
The team who turns it over the least.
No. The entirety of the OMFL, because that's going to be one heck of a game.
But yours too, man. Yours is, boy, you talk about two guys who know how to get at it on the sticks. Talk about your matchup.
Yeah, you've got arguably the best player in OMFL history, even?
Yeah. I mean, arguably, right?
Because what? He had that run of like, what? Seven or eight
five or
OMFL
six
bowls?
straight. Yeah, it was crazy.
Nuts. Versus who I am going to say the greatest underdog in OMFL history, because Nate didn't even think it would happen. And he's doing it again.
I don't know, man. Denver made quite the run as like an 8-7 team. Like Kobe's always been really good. I admit I didn't think he could win, but I mean Kobe's a really good player. Denver was like me, like a pretty average guy, and then out of nowhere went on an 8-7 run, made his OMFL bowl, and then has just been on a tear ever since.
Yeah, but let's be real, Nate. Doing what Kobe did coming from an NFC side that's been stacked is a lot different than doing it from the AFC side.
That's fair.
And don't get me wrong, the AFC's growing its talent pool, and it's getting better and better as we move on.
So who wins that one?
I want to say it, but I just know how hard it is to win against Wayne and D-Money. God. I want to say Kobe, but just he's got to play flawlessly, and I just don't know if that's possible. I've got to go D-Money, as much as it hurts me to say.
Yeah, he hasn't won one in quite some time, so I feel like he is due. But both of us going with the NFC as we continue our lack of respect for the AFC brethren in the OMFL. But as Trey said more eloquently than I did, the AFC is building something really nice over there, and we're seeing teams like the Colts and the Bills and the Bengals, and now you got the Raiders and Bengals. Like anytime you get that going, it's a much better OMFL. So I can't wait to see how this plays out. Tell us, who do you see it? Who wins? Who's the matchup in the chat? I want to see who's the matchup in OMFL 103. And who is your champion in 103? We're going to look at it as we come back, because currently, now I'm going to refresh real quick, but currently, there are no new mailbag questions. So you guys have time to throw something in the mailbag, but if not, then you can say it in the chat. Let's see how it works. All right, let's talk about possible rookies of the year. We're just going to look at the NFC. Oh, we can't look at the NFC. We got to go, or the whole NFL. We got to go conference by conference. So we'll start offensive rookie of the year in the AFC. I'm just going to run off the list that you kind of see here. I'm just going to talk about the top 5. Doesn't really cover everything, but Philip Miller from the Broncos, Watson, let's see, Ian Watson from the Chargers, Troy Linton from the Ravens, Jackson Ogletree, really good player, from the Titans, and then Cameron Fleener from the Houston Texans. You also have Robinson from the Chargers, Robinson from the Bengals, Bates from the Texans, Dudley from the Dolphins, Hills from the Titans. I said I wouldn't run through the whole list. I ran through the whole list anyway. Who is your potential offensive rookie of the year from the AFC?
Well, knowing what I know, we'll go with Philip Miller. I say this just because I 99.9% sure that I know who the offensive rookie of the year is going to be.
Well, we'll look at the NFC as well. That's what we'll do. We'll look at both, and then we'll just pick. So you got Jerry Walters from the Falcons at 9-5. Yannick Blassie. I always mess it up, but Yannick Blassie from the Giants at 7-8. Dwight Matthews from the Seahawks. Adam Moreland from the Buccaneers. Charles Knox from the Los Angeles Rams. Steven Ryder, is that 2 Buccaneers? It sure is. Steven Ryder from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Melvin Gray, who had a great season but just was hurt way too much. Dimitri Knight, who probably could have been in the running if he had played all season and had a quarterback that could throw him the ball. And then Manny Wilcox from the Giants and Will Frost from the Rams. But let's just call it all. Who's winning the offensive rookie of the year period, since you think it's coming from the NFC.
Yeah, because everybody loves the quarterback number, so it's
Of
probably
course.
going to be Yannick.
It has to be, right? Like, the guy's put up some really great numbers.
Like, in EA's terms, he's not winning it, but I know how everybody does things, and it tends to be a QB heavy thing.
It is hard, though. It's hard when you look, you've won both Offensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year with the quarterback. Like, there's just something, a receiver can go off, a running back can rush for almost 2,000 yards, even though it hasn't happened often in the OMFL. But when you see the quarterback yards, completion percentage, touchdown numbers, just hard to not vote for that because it is really, really difficult. I agree with you. I think it's going to be Yannick. I think he's going to be in an Offensive Player of the Year conversations. I think the one thing that hurts in my vote for Offensive Player of the Year, not Rookie of the Year, but Player of the Year, when I think about MVP and Players of the Year, you got to make the playoffs. And I'm just not, I just kind of, that takes you down a notch. Now, for Rookies of the Year, it doesn't. You don't have to make the playoffs to be considered, in my opinion. But it does when you were talking some of those bigger ones. Let's talk about Defensive Rookie of the Year. I'm going to run through a couple of these. You got Quentin Flower from the Ravens, Porter from the Dolphins, Deion Prime, I hate that, from the Dolphins, Dylan Jacobs from the Patriots, Devin Pratt from the Ravens, and you see a couple of these other guys. Let's jump over to the NFC really quick, where we've got Tyshawn Cash, Carlos Anderson, Matt McLean, I think that McLean, I don't know. He's from the Panthers. Cameron Walker, who's played really great for the Packers. God, too many P names in my.
That's McLeod.
I can't get them all out. Justin Harrison, coming from the Seahawks. You see these other guys from these other teams also having a really great season. Who is your Defensive Rookie of the Year?
I looked at this, and it came down to a battle between one from the AFC and one from the NFC. I was looking at it being Wilson Porter as the AFC representative and Tyson Cash being the NFC representative.
You really like Cash.
I saw the numbers and compared the two, and gosh dang, I hate this because it's just going to make him even more powerful next year. But yeah, Cash. Definitely. He's just putting up insane numbers.
Yeah, I got to go with you. I think he is top 5 in tackles and sacks for rookies, if not the top 3 in both of those. It's pretty impressive for a defense that just knows how to get after the quarterback. He's led his team to a 9-5 record. He's going to get a pretty decent seed in the NFC, and some of us believe that he's going to go on a bit of a run. Tyshawn Cash, great player. He's going to be given fits for years to come here in the OMFL. All right, let's refresh the mailbag here. Make sure no one said it. While we're doing that, we got a couple of guys in here. Kevin thinks it's Denbrew versus D Money. If D Money is playing, Kevin, who do you think is actually going to win it though? You got to give me the winner of that game. Dakota, he's got Colts versus Lions. Talk about 2 underdog teams. He's got Colts versus Lions. Lions, Tampa Bay. If D Money sits playoffs out. In the NFC, but you gotta give me some winners here. Kevin says the money, nothing else. Penguins is talking, but he didn't give me a possible submission, and nothing new. Nope, nothing new. Our last one was from last week with Mr. Priest, so we don't even have anything new show on that front. So naughty or nice as we wrap up the playoffs for season 103. Whew, quite the end of a season that we got coming up here, but both of our scenarios that we've played out here today as possible playoff scenarios would leave quite the magnificent array of games to watch, and hopefully to call. Because I like people here, okay? In general, I hope that Trey isn't around to call games because I want him to go have fun and play in the playoffs. He's been fighting hard, but if not, hopefully Trey will be around to call some games.
I've already got the golf course booked.
Well, I've been in Aruba for about 6 weeks now, so I'm letting the assistant coaches finish this season out.
I wasn't here for the beginning of the press pass, but can we talk about yours in my game? Because
No.
that felt like
It was brutal.
you
It was
deserve some
a
damage.
punch in the guts. I've got 4 gonads now because you kicked me so hard, and the 2 that I have, they split in half, and I have 4. How do I have a 5-point lead with under 2 minutes to go? Belton somehow gets behind my defense for the second time of the day. Like, how does he even get back there? And then I just do what Nate does and throw a stupid pick six, scrambling away from Hutchinson, who stole my lunch money, kicked my grandma in the vagina, and punched my mom in the teeth. Like, it just was brutal to lose one like that.
But to put some respect on you, you had a lead with like under 100 yards of total offense.
It's terrible. I can't pass. I can't protect the quarterback. It's driving me insane. Like, I can't even begin to. I don't even know where to start. It was tough, man. It was very tough.
Our trade seemed to be quite interesting, though, given the guy you sent back for the quarterback almost picked you off on the first drive and blocked a field goal.
I dropped 4 interceptions against you. Like, not, ooh, that would have been nice. Like, clearly in my hand, you made a bad play. I'm picking you off. 2 of them user. 2 of them, I suckered you into user, and I if I catch half of those, we might have a different game. But I dropped all 4, and you do what you do. If you go watch the broadcast, like you're just consistent. You're very good on offense. You're very good quarterback play. Even the fact that I had an opportunity to get 4 interceptions just is mind-blowing, because you usually don't make those kinds of decisions. But to drop 4 interceptions at home against a very good player, I shouldn't have been in that game. Somehow battled back, and then I still don't know. A, I still don't know how Hutchinson was getting insta-sheds. And B, how does Belton get behind us twice? Like, it's just mind-blowing.
Well, see, there's this thing, Nate, and I'm going to put this into the world. You always wonder why everything happens. I figured it out. It's when you have a dominant finesse mover that they get the quick shits.
Yeah.
Can you guess what I've been doing with Aiden Hutchinson all year?
No, that's totally fair.
I'm working on the speed rush category. I think he has like 99 finesse move.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a finesse blocker, he's going to get through.
No, and he abused my second-year left tackle.
He abused your guard.
Yeah, he abused everybody, and my poor quarterback is really running for his life.
Is it really fair that I pair him beside Mac in the rush defense?
No, it's not. But and I still don't understand how I dropped 4. Anyway, thank you for bringing up that nightmare. Well, we will be
you
back.
deserve some credit.
I know. Well, we'll be back.
You punted the game to me with barely any offense.
Well, I don't know, but we'll be back, and when we come back, it'll be after Christmas. The playoffs will be here, Trey. We'll know exactly who's in, who's out, who's playing, who's not playing. It's going to be quite the epic battle as we come to a close here, and you still have a heck of a chance here. I can't wait to see how this one plays out. Give me a closing thought.
Probably the greatest OMFL season that I've seen, in terms of we're sitting essentially 2.5 weeks left, and 4 teams are eliminated?
Yeah.
That's saying something.
I actually had the thought this week of watching the NFL and watching the OMFL and going, holy cow, they're pretty close. Like, literally, there's so many teams that are still mathematically in it. And that's literally what I know. We have one undefeated team, but he's an epic player. Overall, I could not be happier. I think we got to look at the interception. I'm still twinging from dropping 4. We got to look at that number a little bit, maybe move that slider up a little bit, but I don't want to mess with it too much. I don't want to go back to having every single quarterback in the OMFL have more interceptions than touchdowns. But overall, I'm really, really happy with how the game's playing and where we are as a league. And now we just got to hope that, well, this year we don't get caught in a draft glitch and we can actually have a draft. That would be nice to have. So
Yeah,
Trey,
I'd like to have my top 5 pick.
That's right. You're gonna have another round of epic picks. And
No.
so will I.
No, this year I'm back to just the normal Lions picks.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. Well,
Yeah,
sorry.
no,
Go.
the Stafford trade got killed by. Thanks EA. Thanks for producing a bad draft.
Well, go back to joining the rest of the good players in the back of the line. Let us bad players get some of those good
Hey.
picks. Well, for Trey, for the OMFL leadership guys, I appreciate you. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. I always say holidays because we got New Year's right there, but Merry Christmas to everybody. You'll see a little bit more of me. I got a stream coming up with the Titans soon. I'll probably do some OMFL minutes, maybe some grown folks minutes. Lots of streaming happening. I don't have many big projects left to do for the rest of my break. So I love you. Thanks, Trey, again for hanging out with me, guys. Thanks for hanging out in chat. We'll see you on the next one, all right?
Yeah.
Smash that like and subscribe.